Hey there, welcome back for another one of my videos. This one should be pretty interesting. I thought about doing a little more actual specific research on this topic before I jumped in because I don't want to misspeak. But I figured I could do a follow-up later if I do a little more specific research, and I would just talk about what I do know about the topic. So, you know, I've had a strange life, and I'll recount a lot of the strange things on these videos and get you up to speed on what it is to be me. Got something strange going on outside right now. Anyhow, my interactions with other people has always been, pardon me, my interactions with other people have always been, let's just say, not normal. From, you know, just tiny interactions to big interactions. For some reason, me and other people don't connect in the same way that other people seem to connect with each other. I mean, it's just what I've noticed. For a long time, I didn't understand it. And, you know, particularly in romantic situations, I noticed that I would clash with women in certain ways that other guys didn't seem to deal with. They didn't have to deal with, like, and I don't know, maybe they did, but it always seemed that I got really strange, unique situations. I mean, that's the nicest way I can put it. And you know, it's not just all rejection or all connection. You know, it was everything, good, bad, you know, left, right, sideways, whatever. It was always strange, and I noticed that, especially like right after I had interactions with people, their next interactions with other people seemed to go much, much better, as if somehow I had helped them uncork some kind of problem. I don't know. It definitely wasn't, it didn't seem beneficial to me. It seemed like I put all my effort in, and it was born as, you know, benefit for these other people who in a lot of cases just outright, you know, screwed me over. And it's frustrating. And anyway, I didn't understand it, and I was trying to just find some kind of answers. And honestly, I don't remember exactly how I stumbled upon this. But when I did stumble upon it, it just kind of answered everything for me, and it was really interesting. Anyway, that's what I'm here to talk about with you today. And you can look this up yourself. The topic today is just simply one word: Heyoka. Now, Heyoka is, gosh, see, I should have done my research. I believe it's a Lakota term. The Lakota people are an Indian tribe from the Midwest, North America. A lot of them were referred to as the Sioux, but I believe Sioux was not a word that they used. Their word was Lakota. Anyway, and I don't know if it was isolated to their tribe or if this was a concept that may have had different names in other tribes. But when you look it up, it's probably going to refer to the Lakota. Anyhow, the Heyoka was essentially like a type of medicine man, or, you know, in the West, you would call them a sorcerer or whatever, or even just a healer. You know, a lot of times that medicine man term was pretty broad, because the Native Americans, I'm not going to call them Indians. It's too confusing. Indians are from India. I'm surprised anybody even still uses that term, frankly. But, so the Native Americans, their concept of healing is a lot broader than the Europeans, you know. To them, even just words can be healing. It doesn't have to be a specific medicine or technique. Or what I mean is it can just be a technique. Medicine can just be a technique, just of conversation or whatever. Anyhow, the Heyoka was one of their special people, special. And the way that they describe it is that this guy was kind of like a sacred clown, for lack of a better Western term. Clown meaning that they don't act in the normal way. They don't act in the way normal people act. They would live outside of society, sometimes by themselves, as hermits, perhaps. They would interact with other people in strange ways. A lot of what they would be referred to would be as inverted. One of the images of the Heyoka is as a person riding a horse backwards. So if you think about it in that way, their view of the world is invert. Well, a lot of the things, they're not just their view, but their interactions and the outcomes of the way that they deal with things in the world are backwards. And, I really identified with this. And I don't have any Lakota blood in me. I'm not from any of that lineage. My lineage is, one half of my lineage on my mom's side is Irish, and that Irish lineage is broad from a lot of large families, possibly reaching all the way back to the beginning of this country. And then my other side is my dad's side is from South America, and he moved here as an immigrant in the 1950s when he was 10 years old, and he's also from another large family. And they, my guess is, I need to do some more research into that, but just looking at the family, there's definitely some Native South American, and, European, Spaniard. And, so if I have any kind of Native American, Native South American blood, it's going to be on my dad's side. And I'm not aware of the percentages or anything like that. I've never done one of those DNA testing things. I frankly don't trust them. But, it would be interesting if I could find a company that wasn't trying to mess with people. I don't know if you heard about that. There was a article that I read last year about how employees at one of those DNA companies were just messing with people by putting in things that didn't fit just to mess with their heads. Great way to destroy your business model. Yeah. But anyway, off that tangent, I don't have a noteworthy amount of Native American or South American blood in me. Just a small amount probably on my dad's side. That's what I'm trying to say. But still, I identify with this type of person. I skew more to being a hermit and I like my alone time. I'm definitely mostly introverted, and I even when I spend time around other people, I need time to recharge. And I've noticed over the years, and especially now that I've read about this Heyoka thing, I've really embraced it. And it really helped me understand my purpose, and this is what I'm trying to get to for this whole thing is, when we talk about your journey or what you're doing in life, the understanding of where you're coming from and your purpose going forward. That's the most important thing, really. That's how you figure out where you've been, where you are, where you're going. If you don't understand that kind of stuff, then, everything else is going to be way more difficult. I know I'm rambling on here, aren't I? This is a bunch of nonsense. It's hard for me to explain. It was hard for me to understand this idea that I was dealing with an inversion, that I would see things in the world in ways that other people didn't. I would react to things in the world in ways that other people wouldn't expect. And I used to think there was something wrong with me. Maybe I wasn't, quite all there. But I feel like after reading about this type of thing that I'm definitely all there. And I'm probably one of these Heyoka things the whole idea is this isn't something you choose to be. Like a little kid in the Lakota tribe would not just, it wouldn't be like a kid in the West. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a Heyoka. No, it would happen. And, my guess is most of the Heyokas were probably a bit of a disappointment to their parents, because I imagine a Heyoka doesn't make a very good warrior. A Heyoka probably doesn't make, a very good head of a household. I'm not saying that this couldn't happen, but these would be difficult things for someone who sees the world in a different way, who interacts with the world in a different way. Everything is affected by it. And I imagine those that don't know what's going on, it's very confusing. I know how confusing it was for me. And I'm not saying this is like the be-all answer, but it definitely shed light on what I can do going forward, how I can rectify my past and understand and learn from my interactions instead of just being frustrated by them. If I am a type of healer, if I am a type of medicine man or whatever, then I need to accept that that's part of my purpose. That, I don't need to be angry that the people that leave me behind do better after they're with me. I need to be happy about that because that's part of my purpose, is maybe helping them let go of things, maybe showing them an inverted type of perspective that gives them comfort into whatever they're dealing with. And this has certainly happened to me a lot. And like I said, in some of the cases, I've been very disappointed in what I was left with. And, I'm learning that that these things become part of my own understanding, that they're not just for me to reap benefits of solely. It's essentially like, the rising tide lifts all ships. Me helping other people actually helps me help myself. And this is a lesson I've had to learn many times in my life, and I continue to learn. So, being a Heyoka, it's interesting. If part of the description was that as a youth or even throughout your whole life, that you interact with the thunder gods in your dreams. And when I first read this, I didn't quite understand it, but it makes total sense. Like I was trying to search my memory for like very specific interactions, very specific dreams, and I couldn't really pinpoint anything. And then I started realizing, I was like, wait, basically all my dreams are like that. Basically in all my dreams, I'm interacting with these like higher powers, and they're all me trying to understand what's going on with them and within me, and maybe trying to harness some of that energy for myself. And it was more of an epiphany that these weren't specific things, but these were just, things that were going on all the time. If that makes any sense. And talking about dreams is really hard. Especially because with the way dreams are, at least for me, is I can talk about specific things like as soon as I wake up, they're very fresh. And then, of course, as you get further away from that moment, they not only are harder to describe, but they're harder to understand. I had a dream the other day that was about, like, I invented some new game in my dream, and I literally, like, made up all the rules and everything in my dream. And I woke up, and I wrote down all this stuff, and then I went back to sleep to try to think about it some more. And when I finally woke up later, I read what I had written down, and it was just nonsense. It was like, well, that won't work. Like, the physics of it won't work. In my dream it made sense, but in the waking world it didn't make any sense. I'm rambling here today. This is going to be one of my worst videos, I bet. But look, check out the Heyoka thing, and I'm going to try to maybe, like I said, put my thoughts together better and do another one of these videos. I really should have had some reference here to look at, but just keep in mind, there's going to be people that you interact with that are acting in strange ways, and they aren't always just messing with you. Sometimes there's a purpose for it. I know that when I interact with other people, now that I'm aware of my nature, I try to do very specific things. Especially when I see people doing things that I think are in bad taste, or that are meant to incite bad feelings or violence or whatever, I sometimes try to take what they're doing and kind of repackage it in my inverted way and show it back to them in a way where it seems totally ridiculous. And hopefully it makes them realize how totally ridiculous their original act was. I mean, if they're paying attention. A lot of people just, in some way the inversion is like, people say fight fire with fire. And of course, I think that's preposterous. That just makes more fire. I say you fight fire with water. And that's what I try to do. If that's the simplest way I can put how I feel that Heyoka acts is I fight fire with water. Yeah, that makes sense. I might also ride a horse backwards, but I don't really like horses. Or I don't like to ride horses. I love to be around horses, pet them or whatever. But a horse takes one look at me and they're like, nah, buddy, you ain't getting on this. And I'm totally cool with that. I like horses and their nature, but I don't really like getting up on them. It's difficult, especially for me and my physical issues, but they don't like it either. So it's a mutually beneficial thing for me to not be riding horses, frontwards or backwards. But it is a neat mental image to kind of put together all of that stuff. And the whole idea of the clown thing, I wouldn't say I'm a clown. I would say that I like to joke, and I consider myself pretty witty, and I do like to highlight the absurd. And I do like to tell jokes. I'm not very good at scripted jokes. I'm way better at reacting to situations and just funny observations, usually right off the top of my head. If I have to memorize and practice something, like stand-up jokes or something like that, it never comes out right. It never comes out funny. Mostly because I'm trying to rework it like on the fly, and I'm trying to make it seem like it just occurred to me. But if it didn't, then I'm just not very good at faking that. Okay, well, there's a bunch of nonsense here. I'm glad there's nobody watching, so I'm not wasting anybody's time except my own. And when people go back and look at this video, they're going to be like, no, it was kind of a stinker. The fuck is in Heyoka? All right, y'all. Love you. Mean it.